1. Introduction. My name is Olivia, and I am 39 years old. For most of my life, I have felt like a person that nobody really sees. It is a strange and lonely feeling, like being a ghost in your own story. This feeling started when I was young. My parents were very strict people. They had many rules for me, and I always tried to be a good daughter. Their biggest rule was about boys. My parents told me that dating was a bad thing for a young woman. They said, "You cannot have a boyfriend until you are 18 years old." Their words made me very scared of boys and relationships. When I finally turned 18, the fear did not go away. I did not know how to talk to men. I did not know what to say to them, so I did nothing. I stayed quiet and I stayed alone. To make sure nobody noticed me, I tried to become invisible. I chose my clothes very carefully. I wore things that were big and did not have bright colors. My favorite color to wear was gray. I had gray sweaters, gray pants, and gray skirts. I believed that if I looked plain and boring, people would not look at me. For many years, this was my strategy. I was like a shadow, and nobody saw the real Olivia. Now, my life is confusing. My parents have changed their minds completely. They do not tell me to stay away from men anymore. Instead, they ask me, "Olivia, you are almost 40. When will you get married and give us grandchildren?" Their old rules made me afraid, and their new rules make me feel like a failure. The pressure from them is heavy. Family dinners are the most difficult part of my month. My aunts and cousins always talk about my life. They think it is funny that I am single. Last Sunday, one of my aunts said, "We should buy you 10 more cats for your birthday, Olivia." Everyone at the table laughed. They call me the cat lady. I pretend to smile, but inside I feel very hurt. Their words are like small, sharp stones. When the dinner is over, I drive home to my quiet apartment. It is a small place, and it is always empty. I lock the door and sit in the dark. I think about their jokes and their loud laughter. I feel so completely alone in the world. In my quiet apartment, nobody can see me, so I let myself cry. I cry for the person I want to be and for the life I do not have. 2. A new man started working in my office last month. His name is Carl, and he works in the supply room. The supply room is where we get paper and pens, and it is near my desk. Carl is tall, and he has very kind, blue eyes. He always has a friendly smile. He is not like the other people at work. Most of my coworkers are busy and they do not talk to me. They see me as the quiet woman who works with old papers. They walk past my desk and they do not say anything. To them, I am just part of the office furniture. But Carl was different from the first day. He noticed me. Every morning, he walked to my desk. "Good morning, Olivia," he said. His voice was warm. At first, I was very surprised. I did not know what to say. I just looked down at my hands and said, "Hello." But he continued to do it every day. Soon, he started to ask me questions. "How was your weekend?" he asked one Monday. Nobody at work ever asked me that before. I told him I read a book. He listened carefully and smiled. He told me he went for a long walk in the park. These small conversations were the best part of my day. Then, about 2 weeks ago, something different happened. It was a Friday afternoon, and I was finishing my work. Carl came to my desk. He looked a little nervous. "Olivia," he started, "I was wondering, would you like to get a coffee with me after work today?" My heart started to beat very fast, like a drum. A man was asking me to go somewhere with him. It felt strange and unreal. I looked at his hopeful face. Suddenly, I did not hear the sounds of the office anymore. I only heard my mother's voice in my head. It was loud and clear from many years ago. "Men are dangerous, Olivia. They are not good." The old fear came back. It was a cold feeling in my stomach. Panic took control of me. I could not breathe properly. I looked down at my gray shoes because I could not look at Carl's kind eyes. "No," I said. My voice was very small. "No, I can't. I'm busy." It was a lie. I was not busy. I was just scared. I saw the smile leave Carl's face. He looked sad, but he tried to hide it. "Oh, okay," he said softly. "Another time, maybe." He gave me a small, sad smile, and then he turned and walked away. I watched him go back to the supply room. A terrible feeling filled my chest. It was regret. I wanted to call his name and say I made a mistake. But I stayed in my chair, silent and full of sadness. I knew I made the wrong choice. 3. A big change. That weekend, I went to my cousin's baby shower. The room was full of pink and blue balloons. Everyone was happy and loud. My cousin opened many presents for her new baby. She received small shoes, soft blankets, and cute toys. I gave her a book. I tried to smile, but it was difficult. I felt very alone in the happy room. All the women talked about their children and their husbands. I had nothing to say. My Aunt Sarah saw me standing by myself. She walked over to me. She looked at my empty hands and then at my cousin's big stomach. She laughed a loud laugh. "Don't worry, Olivia," she said. "Maybe in your next life you will have a husband and a baby." The other women heard her and they laughed too. Their laughter felt like small, sharp stones. I wanted to disappear. I felt so small and so angry. I did not cry. Instead, something inside me felt different. That night, I could not sleep. I thought about my aunt's words. I thought about my sad, gray life. For years, I listened to my parents. I was a good daughter. I was quiet and obedient, but I was not happy. I was almost 40 years old and I was tired of being scared. I was tired of hiding. I thought about Carl at work. He was kind to me. He saw me. And I said no to him because I was afraid. I felt a new feeling in my heart. It was not sadness. It was a decision. I wanted to change my life. On Monday morning, I opened my closet. I looked at all my gray clothes. They looked sad and boring. At the back of the closet, there was a blue dress. I bought it 5 years ago but never wore it. It was too bright. But today, I wanted to be bright. I put on the blue dress. I looked at myself in the mirror. I looked different. I was still Olivia, but I was a new Olivia. I felt nervous, but also excited. At work, I walked to the supply room. My hands were shaking. My heart was beating like a drum. I was so scared, but I did not stop. Carl was there. He was organizing some large boxes on a shelf. He turned around and looked surprised when he saw me. He also looked at my blue dress. I took a very deep breath. "Carl," I started. My voice was small. "I am sorry about the other day. I made a mistake." I looked at his kind face. "I would like to go to dinner with you if you still want to." A big, beautiful smile appeared on Carl's face. It made his eyes look very bright. "Yes, Olivia," he said, "I would love that. For the first date." Carl chose a small Italian restaurant for our first date. It was a quiet place with soft lights and red tablecloths. I arrived 5 minutes early. My hands were cold and I felt nervous. What if he did not like me? What if I said something stupid? When Carl walked in, he smiled, and my heart felt a little calmer. He looked very handsome in a dark blue shirt. We sat at a small table for two near the window. A waiter brought us menus and 2 glasses of water. I tried to act relaxed. I picked up my glass to take a drink. But my hand was shaking and the glass slipped. Water went all over the table. My face felt hot and red. "Oh no, I am so sorry," I said. I wanted to hide. I was sure he thought I was a clumsy fool, but Carl did not laugh at me. He smiled a kind smile. "It is only water," he said in a calm voice. He took his napkin and helped me clean the mess. He did not make me feel bad at all. He made me feel safe. When the waiter came back, Carl ordered spaghetti for both of us. During dinner, we started to talk more. He asked me about my job as an archivist, and he seemed really interested in my answers. Then, I decided to be brave. I needed to tell him the truth about myself. "Carl," I started. My voice was very quiet. "I need to tell you something. This is my first real date." He stopped eating and looked at me. He was not surprised, just curious. I told him everything. I told him about my strict parents and their rules. I explained that I was always scared of men and social situations. I told him about my gray clothes and how I always tried to be invisible. I was sure he would think I was strange and want to leave. But he listened to every word. He did not look at his phone. He just looked right into my eyes. When I finished talking, he was quiet for a moment. Then he reached across the table and gently touched my hand. "Olivia," he said softly, "thank you for telling me. Your parents were wrong to make you feel scared. You are not strange. You are an interesting and warm person. I am very happy I met you." In that moment, something changed inside me. For the first time in my life, someone saw the real me, not the quiet woman from the office, not the single cat lady from family dinners. He saw Olivia, and he liked her. I felt one tear run down my cheek, but it was a happy tear. I smiled back at him, a real smile. 5. A secret love. After our wonderful first date, Carl and I started to see each other more. We went for walks and had dinner at quiet restaurants. But at work, we were just co-workers. We decided to keep our relationship a secret. I did not want people at the office to talk about us. Office gossip can be unkind, and I was not ready for their questions. For many years, people saw me as the quiet, strange woman. This new feeling with Carl was only for us. It was our special secret, and I wanted to protect it. Carl understood completely. He said he would wait until I was ready. So, we found small, secret ways to be together during the day. Sometimes we met in the elevator. When the doors closed, he would quickly take my hand. We only had 10 or 15 seconds alone before the elevator stopped. My heart beat fast every time. His hand was warm and strong, and it made me feel safe. Then the doors opened, and we had to let go. We would walk out and pretend we were just co-workers. Other times, he would leave a small note on my desk when nobody was looking. These small moments were thrilling, like a secret game that only the two of us knew. One Tuesday evening, it started to rain very hard. The sky turned dark and gray. Most people went home early to avoid the bad weather. By 6 o'clock, the office was almost empty. I had a report to finish, so I stayed late at my desk. I heard the soft sound of the rain against the large window. It was a calm sound in the empty building. I looked up from my computer and saw that Carl was also still here. He was standing near the supply room, but he was not working. He was just watching me. He walked out of the supply room and came to my desk. He moved slowly and quietly. He did not say anything at first. The big office was completely silent, except for the rain outside. He stood very close to me, next to my chair. I stopped typing and turned to look at him. I could feel a strange energy between us, like electricity in the air. It was exciting and a little scary. I looked at his kind face. He looked down at me, and his blue eyes were full of longing. Slowly, he lifted his hand and gently touched my cheek. His fingers were warm against my skin. My whole body felt awake and alive. I forgot about my report and the office. I forgot about everything except the man standing next to me. We just looked at each other for a long moment. The silence was not empty. It was full of all the words we did not need to say. In that moment, I knew our secret love was becoming something much bigger and stronger. I felt a deep wish to be closer to him. 6, a special night. His voice was quiet. "Come to my place," he whispered. My heart started to beat very fast. This was a big step for me. For my whole life, I was the good girl. The good girl always went home early and alone. She never went to a man's apartment. My mother's old rules were still loud in my head. But I was tired of those rules. I looked into Carl's kind eyes. I was not a girl. I was a woman of 39 years. I wanted to be with him, not alone. I finally nodded my head. Yes, I said. A warm smile appeared on his face. We left the dark, empty office together. The rain was heavy outside. Inside the car, it was quiet and safe. The sound of the rain on the car roof was soft and calming. We did not talk much on the drive to his home. We did not need to use words. I watched the bright city lights through the wet car window. Everything looked blurry and beautiful. I felt like I was in a dream. I was not going back to my quiet, empty apartment. I was going somewhere new with someone new. I was leaving the old, scared Olivia behind. Carl's apartment was warm and comfortable. It was not a big place, but it felt like a real home. There were many books on the shelves and a soft, green sofa in the living room. He turned on a small lamp, and the room filled with a soft, yellow light. Quiet music played from a speaker in the corner. It was so different from my silent home. We sat together on the sofa. He moved closer and put his hand on my cheek. Then he kissed me. It was not a quick kiss. It was long, slow, and full of feeling. It felt like I was finally coming home. In that moment, I forgot about my age. I forgot about my aunt's jokes. All my fears disappeared. We talked for hours. He told me about his dreams, and I told him about mine. I was not shy. With him, I could be myself. I spent the night there. We fell asleep in each other's arms. For the first time in my life, I felt completely safe. When I woke up, the morning sun was shining through the window. I was still in his arms. I felt a new feeling inside me. It was a feeling of belonging. 7, meeting the family. The phone rang on a Tuesday morning. It was my mother. "Olivia, we want you to come for lunch on Sunday," she said. It was not a question. In the past, I always went to these lunches alone and felt sad. But now, things were different. For 1 month, my love for Carl was a secret. It was our special, private world. I was tired of hiding parts of my life. I wanted my family to see the new me, the real me. "I will come," I told my mother. "And I am bringing a guest." There was a long silence on the phone. "A guest?" she finally asked. Her voice was full of surprise. "Yes, a guest," I said. I felt a little scared, but also strong. I told Carl about the lunch. He was not worried at all. He held my hand and smiled his kind smile. "I want to meet them," he said. "I am proud to be with you, Olivia. I want them to see how happy you are." His words made me feel brave. On Sunday, we drove to my parents' house. My hands were cold and shaking on my legs. Carl saw my fear. He put his warm hand on mine. "It will be okay," he said softly. "We are a team." When we walked through the front door, the talking in the living room stopped. Everyone turned and looked at us. My mother, my father, and two of my aunts were there. Their faces were full of shock. My Aunt Maria whispered something to my Aunt Sophia. My father stood up. He did not smile. "Olivia, who is this?" he asked. His voice was hard and serious. I took a deep breath. I did not let go of Carl's hand. "This is Carl," I said. My voice was clear and loud. "He is my boyfriend." My mother looked at Carl from his head to his shoes. She did not look friendly. Before she could ask a question, I spoke again. I looked at my mother, my father, and my aunts. "What matters is that he is a good man. He is kind and he respects me. For years, you called me the cat lady. You made jokes. You wanted me to find someone. Well, I found someone wonderful. I am happy." Carl squeezed my hand. He looked at me with love in his eyes. He did not need to say anything. His support was a warm light around me. The room was silent. My family looked at me. They did not see the quiet, sad Olivia in her gray clothes. They saw a strong woman holding the hand of a man who loved her. My father sat down slowly. For the first time, they did not have a joke. They did not have an answer. They just looked at me with something new in their eyes. It was respect. 8, the wedding day, our love grew stronger every day. For 6 months, Carl and I were very happy. We spent all our free time together. We went to parks, watched movies, and cooked dinner at his apartment. I felt like a different person. I was not the quiet, sad woman from the office anymore. I was happy and I smiled a lot. Carl showed me that love was not scary. It was a beautiful and safe feeling. I learned to trust him, and I learned to trust myself too. One evening, we walked by a small lake. The sun was going down, and the sky was orange and pink. It was a beautiful moment. Carl stopped walking and took both of my hands. He looked into my eyes. His own eyes were full of love. He told me how much I changed his life. Then he went down on one knee. He opened a small box. Inside was a beautiful, simple ring. "Olivia, will you marry me?" he asked. My heart was full of joy. I did not need to think. "Yes," I said. "Yes, of course, yes." I started to cry, but they were happy tears. He put the ring on my finger. It was a perfect fit. We did not want a big wedding. We wanted something small and special, just for us and our close family and friends. We got married in a beautiful garden. There were many flowers and the sun was warm. I wore a simple white dress. It was not gray. I felt beautiful. My parents were there. They looked proud. Even my aunts were quiet and smiled at me. They saw how happy Carl made me. When I looked at Carl waiting for me, I knew I made the right choice. We said our promises to each other under a big, old tree. It was the best day of my life. I was 39 years old when I got married. Some people might think that is too old to start a new life. At the wedding, one of my cousins said, "It is good you finally found someone." Her words did not hurt me anymore. I just smiled at her. I knew my journey was different, and that was okay. My life did not start at 18 or 25. It started now. Finding love at 39 was perfect for me. I needed all those years to become the strong woman I was today. I was not a girl who was afraid of her parents' rules. I was not the invisible woman anymore. I was not the cat lady. I was Olivia, Carl's wife. My family finally saw me. They did not ask me about grandchildren anymore. They asked if I was happy. And I was very, very happy. Holding Carl's hand, I knew my real life was just beginning. Love did not have an age limit. It just had the right time, and my time was now.